Guys, it is my favorite time of the year. Barbell's biggest sale of the year is back, and for a limited time, you can get any of their athletic fit jeans, the chinos, their joggers, or the tactical pants for just 99 bucks. That's right, the absolute best pants out there for less than $100. I live in Barbell's joggers, and their jeans are my go-to when it's time to dress up. Athletes love these pants because of the fit. You will have freedom of movement whether you're training or you're just living life. And the quality is top-notch. And here's my favorite part. Barbell apparel is owned by athletes who want you to use your gear. If you destroy it, Barbell will replace it. Free for elite members with just a shipping and handling fee for all non-members. These guys always have you covered with the best clothes and the best deals. Barbell apparel is seriously built for the everyday athlete and backed for life. So if you're ready to step up your gear like a champion, go to barbellapparel.com. Snag yourself a new pair of pants or two. Or guys, just click on the link below.
I'm in a peculiar headspace as it has to do with Alex Pereira. Now, I just had this argument. And I had this argument with Daniel Cormier, discussion. But Alex Pereira, when cornering Sean Strickland in Australia, somehow gets recruited by Drake to stick around, stay in Australia, and walk onto the stage with Drake for a performance that he was having. I'm at least 90% accurate on that story. And it's a problem. It's a really big problem. If you go on to be world champion, there's things that are going to come with that. You are going to have access to somebody like Drake, for example, which you are going to think is pretty cool. And if you get asked by somebody like Drake to stick around and accompany them on stage in front of a big sold out 40,000 people, that would be pretty cool. And you got to understand, there's a reason that you work so hard in the first place, right? If you're Alex Pereira, there's a reason that you sacrificed and dedicated your life to a craft, the hardest possible business there is, and you rose to the top. It's to be able to get invited to cool events that other people don't get invited to, right? Like, I mean, not for nothing, it would have been very difficult for Alex Pereira to turn that down. Like, if Drake makes that offer, I'm trying to follow the golden rule. Put myself in somebody else's shoes. How would I respond? I'm probably staying an extra day and I'm going on stage with Drake. That's probably the real answer. And that's me fighting every urge that I have right now with you guys from an entertainment standpoint to bury Drake and tell you what a dork he is. I'm fighting that urge because it's not true. I don't mean it. If I got invited to do something like that, not to mention how easy is that for me to sell myself on? I mean, after all, I'm in the promotion business. What better promotion could I have? What other fighter could have that opportunity? I can bring an esteem and an elevation to our entire industry, right? But you could sell yourself on something like this. Now, the downside, and the only downside, is just simply that it's another day away from home. And it's not as though it's a day where you're not getting exercise in. But I'm going to share for you, I have never seen a word as corrupted, as trained, as violently abused by the MMA community, the jiu-jitsu community. If you have practice, that's called practice. If you're exercising, if you're working out, training is something totally different. But I will notice in my time in MMA or my time in jiu-jitsu, they will call everything training. It is not training. Training is exclusively reserved for a period of time in your life when you eat, breathe, and sleep that sport. Nothing interferes. You are fully locked down. Your intensity is an all-time high. And that's where training camps can be 8 to 10 weeks. Now, again, over the corruption part of this, Guys will come off the couch having done nothing. They'll show up to practice for 8 to 10 weeks and try to figure out why they can't beat their opponent. You got to go to practice every single day. You got to exercise and work out every single day. Then you will mark on a calendar an 8, 9 to 10 week period where you are buckled down. It's very, very important that you understand that concept, because no matter how you feel right now, no matter how you feel when you accept that invite to Drake, no matter how exciting it is to have those people cheering for you, no matter any of those things, there will be a moment, and it will come on fight night, and it will be you in your locker room, just before you walk, just before you make that walk, and you will ask yourself the same question every time. Do I deserve to win? Have I done everything possible to make sure I do win? And it'll be one of the most honest conversations you ever have with yourself. And if that answer is not yes, you will know it in that moment. And it will bite you in the ass in that moment. Now, I've never seen anything from Alex Pereira other than a straight up professional. When he travels with his coach. He travels with his team. But I'm still following the golden rule. I'm putting myself in his spot. If I got my coach and I got my team, but I'm in a different time zone, so my body's thrown off. We're in a gym where we're guests. It's not our gym. We're guests in a gym. We've got bodies. They're not our bodies. They're new bodies. Some are trying to get over on us. Some are trying to carry us. Some are trying to push us. Some of these guys wish that they were us, and they're going to treat this like a fight and take our spot. Other guys are happy we're here. It's just one of these things where all of a sudden your workout is different. It could be a very good workout. It's still a workout. It's different. And if you're trying to work out, if you're trying to go to practice, or you're trying to exercise in the days that are designated for training, it's a problem. And it comes at you fast. It comes at you real fast. So, there's only one guy. Mythical Line, my own partners at DraftKings. They put out a line. They had everybody in there. Lionheart was in there, and a rematch with Roundtree was up there. And what happens if Adesanya moves up to 205 pounds? I mean, they went all across the board with potential fights for Alex Pereira. And Alex Pereira was the favorite in 100% of those, even mythical lines, except one. Except one. And it was against Uncle Liev. He was a 2-1 underdog. Now, are you guys aware of this? Because that has changed. When DraftKings opened the line, Uncle Liev was a 2-1 favorite. He's not anymore. You guys came in with your money and you moved Pereira to a favorite. Now, he slid back just a little bit, but this is as close to even money. I see it the same way. It turns out Pereira is even better than we thought he was. And it also turns out that this is not your classic grappler versus striker matchup, as so many people had promised and advertised us. It turns out it's two kickboxers. It just happens that one of them is proven to be the best in the world. Like, it's a very compelling matchup. But it's still a very close matchup. And it's still two human beings. No matter how superhuman they look, they're not. They're two human beings that are both going to ask themselves the exact same question. And when you're in the back and you're trying to convince yourself that in a worst case scenario, which is I find the 24th minute of a 25-minute fight, do I have the endurance to hold up? Your answer is going to be yes or no. And you're going to know that from training. Did I do absolutely everything? Have I uncovered every stone? There is nothing more impressive than a fist fighter that can be losing a contest going into the final round and he finds a way to win. And we've seen Alex Pereira do that. We saw him do that against Israel Adesanya, as a matter of fact. Alex Pereira was losing the entire fight. He had not won a single round against Khalil Roundtree and then shut him off in the round. In the third, and I'm just sharing for you, like, that's a real tool that he has. That's a real weapon that he has. A fighter's confidence only comes from one thing. Because a fighter's biggest fear is not failure. His biggest fear is exhaustion. And whenever you hear about confidence, Whenever you hear that a training camp was good or a training camp was bad, they're all referencing the same thing. And it's not how much they slept. It's not how much they dieted. It's not how well they did in the gym, how well their rounds went. It's none of those things. When a fighter talks about his confidence, he is specifically referencing his level of cardio. That's it. If a fighter is confident going into a fight, he truly believes that his conditioning is more than that guy's. And you can say whatever you want, but you will be faced with the question. And it's just a very interesting spot. Like, I don't wish anything ill onto Ankalaev. I don't wish anything ill onto Alex Pereira. In fact, I'm very happy for both of them that they've worked their way to this spot. I'm happy that as a community, we make the right fights for the guys that deserve them. That's all true. But the bigger fights that I do want to see for Alex Pereira are not at 205 pounds. The bigger fights that I want to see for Alex Pereira happen to be at heavyweight. I mean, Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira that is fire. Alex Pereira on a poster opposite Ciryl Gane. I mean, these things are fire. And you get one or both of those done, and all of a sudden, Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones is the greatest poster you could ever put out. But it's got to go in that order. I understand these things. I'm just sharing for you, the thought of Alex Pereira losing at 205 pounds is not the world's worst news, even if you're an Alex Pereira fan. So many people forget how we got to Pereira to 205 pounds. I've heard people say it. I've overheard people say it. I've heard people in the media say it. They say it wrong. They say he cleaned out 185. After he cleaned out 185, he moved up to 205. You're remembering that wrong. He moved up to 205 when he got beat at 185. And if you are a huge Pereira fan, and if you do like the idea of Pereira versus Ciryl Gane, Pereira versus Aspinall, Pereira versus Jones, if you like those ideas, the first thing we got to do is to get him to that weight class. And there's two ways to do it. You can clean out a division and move on. That's true. It's rare, but it's happened. Or you can wait until a guy gets beat. He can move up the very next day with no pushback. Something to think about.